Today we continue with our class Laws of Yom Tov. We start with Sefer Shmiras Haloshon, and the topic, today's topic, is unity of Jewish people. The following is a subline inside, found in Smag 9. The source of the Talmud Yerushalmi Nedarim 9:4. So Smag, I think it's list of the mitzvahs, count of 613 mitzvahs. Well, at least one of them. So it says, okay. Suppose a man were walking along the path, and one of his feet would trip over the other, causing him to fall to the ground and suffer cuts and bruises. Would he seek to revenge of the guilty foot and refrain from trying to heal the wounds? Would he harbor any will toward the foot? Obviously not. For his feet, hands, face, etc. are all parts of one body, of his own. If anything, he might reflect upon his deeds and view his sins as a true cause of his mishap. So let's do it again. I mean, we all heard this parable, but let's try to see, maybe we're going to learn something new. So one more time. Suppose a man were walking along the path, and one of his feet would trip over the other, okay, causing him to fall to the ground and suffer cuts and bruises. So he was walking, he tripped, one foot tripped over the other. So meaning it's his fault, right? He's not going to punish one foot because it was guilty of all of this damage, right? Would he seek to revenge the guilty double quotes, foot and refrain from trying to heal the wounds? Very interesting. Meaning, would he revenge that? Of the guilty foot and refrain from trying to heal the wounds, its wounds, on its wounds in the keywords, meaning the wounds on this foot, right? Okay, not on the whole body, but specifically on that foot. Okay, would he harbor in will toward that foot? Obviously not. For his feet, hands and face, etc., all parts of the same body, his own, right? Meaning it's one in the same body, and even one part falters, like the whole body suffers, of course, but does not mean that we should neglect that part of the body. Okay, obviously not. For his feet, if anything, he might reflect upon his deeds and review his sins, and as a true cause of mishap. So that's what we always say. So the problem is with the person, with his misdeeds. Right, so all of the suffering, right? It's not because of this, not because of that, not because of this neighbor or this relative, or cat or something, right? Or roaches or something. It's because of us. Okay, continue. Similarly, if the neighbor refuses to do a favor that one has asked of him, or even if he caused one headache or has shamed him in any way, one should not seek revenge to bear a grudge against him. For who is oneself and who is one's fellow? Both of them stem from the same source, as it is written, and who is like your nation Israel, one nation on earth. It's Divrei Yamim 17:21. Okay, so let's do this again, right? Similar, neighbor refuses to do a favor that one has asked him. So meaning, talking about favor that the neighbor is capable of doing. It's not like we did not ask him something like crazy, something like he would do, he might do, right? And then somebody just recently told me, so he asked somebody to do, and person, no, I'm too lazy, I apologize, I'm too tired. And it was, I think, a day off or something. The other person got very upset. I mean, okay. So I told him, don't get upset. Do whatever you need to do. Just leave him alone. You understand? Don't bear grudge. Okay. So right, ask, or even if he causes one headache, right? So causes one headache, has shame him in a way. He, I don't know, play music very loud. So, right. So it's crazy. We had the neighbors, not all, but Baruch Hashem, they moved out, but they were here for a few weeks, and they had parties like every few days. Whole family, it's crazy, right? But Baruch Hashem, they're no longer there. But it's very possible to have headaches from all these parties. Okay, so even then, right? Or shame him in any way. Also, it's even worse than all of them, right, combined. One should not seek revenge or bear grudge against him. Why? For who is oneself and who is one's fellow? Again, we're talking about fellow. So fellow, it's very important. That's what most of the people drop out of description. Fellow is your fellow in the Torah and mitzvahs. Others are not our fellow. That may be somebody else's fellow, but not our fellows. Both stem from the same source, as it is written, and who is like your nation, Israel, one nation on earth. So, the very name. Continue. The Torah states, all of the souls of the house of Yaakov who came to Egypt 70. It's Bereshit 46:27. We just learned it not too long ago. Right? So all of the souls are 70. The Hebrew word for the souls is neshamas. Yet, in this verse, the singular form nefesh is used. Okay, alluding the fact that in heaven the souls of people of Israel are like one. Right, so meaning they came as one family, one soul. Okay, each Jewish soul were part of the each Jewish soul, while the part of the whole is distinct and unique. So that's very interesting statement, right? So on one hand, it's they're all the same. On another hand, it's not the same, right? It's distinct and unique. Like a person whose body is single unit, comprised of many individual parts, each with its own distinct and unique function. All Jewish souls are eventually be gathered to one source beneath the heavenly throne, right? Okay, let's continue then with the throne. As it is written, and the souls of my master shall be bound in a bond of life. It's from Shmuel 25:29. It is only in this world where each soul is clothed with a physical body and is involved in its own personal matters that one sees itself as distinct entity apart from his fellow Jew. In truth, however, all Jews are one in very real sense. Okay, so let's go a little back and we see. So we said that the Yaakov came as one soul. Okay. So one, and then we said yes, like same each Jewish soul. It's like a part of the body, right? You have one body, yeah, but it consists of many parts, right? And which is distinct and unique. Okay. Each with its own distinct and unique function. So from here we're going to review. All Jewish souls are eventually be gathered in one source beneath the throne of heaven, as it is written. So that's the source of all Jewish souls. Other souls I do not know. And the souls of the master shall be bound in the bond of life. So I think it's Abigail. From Shmuel, I think it's Abigail was talking to David. That's if I remember correctly, right? And the soul of my master, meaning David, shall be bound by bond of life, meaning that it should live in a world to come. That's if I remember correctly. That's the explanation. It is so. It's a big blessing. So she started her negotiation basically not to kill her husband. Okay, Navos. No, it was Navos. Different name. Okay, I don't remember. It is only in this world where each soul is clothed in his own physical body and involved in its own personal matters. So very interesting. In this world, every soul has a body, right, to perform its function. But when people going up the heaven, they don't have body unless you're Eliyahu and Navi, right? According to some opinion, he went with the body. According to other opinion, he did not went with the body. Okay, so there, since there is no body, there is no matter, so that their soul is more, like, it's more visible. The way I understand, there is one, right? A person matter, the one sees himself as distinct apart from his fellow Jew. In truth, however, all Jews are the one and very same real sense. Okay, so because part of the one. Any questions on what we said? We'll continue. Okay, so then we continue with chapter number 16. I mean, we continue with topic, with laws of Yom Tov, but start new chapter 16. The topic is marinating and salting. On Shabbos, it is forbidden to marinate any food item in a spicy liquid. For example, vinegar, salt water, pickled brine. So, as we said when we were learning these laws, the biggest issue, I think, would be Pesach, right? Because we need the salt water, so just dilute a little more, and that's it. There should be no issues, right? Because when people make a brine, right, they actually add much more salt, so it's very salty. Okay. So one more time, on Shabbos it is forbidden to marinate any food item in a spicy liquid. There is a vinegar, salt water, pickled brine. Okay. So of course, if we took pickle, for example, right, and you cut it in half, and because that's how much you want to eat, so of course you can put back, because it's not going to be marinating, because you took it from there. So in a sense, it's not going to absorb more salt than it had originally. That's I mean, in my mind, that's the pure, like, it's one of the miracles of Hashem, that the food is going to absorb only as much salt as it needs to, not extra. So even though it's going to stay in this brine for a long time. Okay. This rabbinic prohibition was enacted because marinated alters the quality of the food and therefore comparable to cooking. Right. So just to remind us, when we were talking about in a Shabbos kitchen, so we said that marinating and salting is a cooking. In my mind, the best example is fish. So you have raw fish. I'm not sure if all fish, but salmon for sure, and some like herrings, some other fish. You salt, you put under like pressure or something, like and after some time, like several hours, 5-6 hours, you can eat it, no problem, right? So salted. So before it was raw, was inedible. I mean, for most of the people, and then through the salting, it became edible. So that's why it's comparable to cooking. So cooking, okay, classic definition of cooking, altering the taste, not the taste, altering the quality, right, through the heat. Here is without heat, but altering the quality. Salting foods whose quality or texture can be altered by salt. There is common vegetables or beans. Is also included prohibition against marinating. Common vegetables or beans. I did not know that you can marinate beans. I mean, maybe I'm thinking of like dry beans. Okay, maybe fresh beans. Okay. Although explanation is that salting is prohibited because it's comparable to av melachah, mea bear, tannin, in which salt is similar or a similar chemical is used to improve the texture of hides. The proper way to salt the vegetables on Shabbos is either to salt one piece at a time just before it is eaten, or to pour liquid such as oil on the vegetables, preferably before salting, so that the potency of the salt is diminished. So, okay, it's all of these rules for Shabbos, but let's try to understand. So first we said salting is like cooking. Okay. But another explanation is that was a salting where salt is used, brine were used. It was not in cooking, but in tanning. So they would put make some kind of solutions, right? I think salt, and they take some other chemicals, and they would soak the hides of animals in it, right? As I said, to improve the texture of the hides. Okay, so that's original Melachah from the Mishkan. The proper, so I mean, even though we say that we compare it to cooking, but the actual Melachah was this tanning. The proper way to salt vegetables on Shabbos is either to salt one piece at a time. So one piece at a time, so meaning that you're not preparing for a future. When people usually marinate or salting things, right? They do it in order to prepare it, to preserve it for the future, right? Prepare for preserve for the future. If I do only one piece at a time, so a piece of cucumber, I peeled cucumber, cut it in half, and now I put some salt on it, right? So that's my intention is to eat it. It's not for to live for tomorrow, for sure, right? So that's how we salt on Shabbos. Okay. Right, that's one thing. Or if you want to salt the salad, it would be problematic, of course, as we see, right? So what do? We apply some liquid, such as oil. So why? Because it tempers the taste, the potency of the salt. So, but basically, I think even like other like dressings would also suffice. So even though there is a salt inside of them, but it's not like I mean, are you allowed to put dressing, salad dressing on Shabbos? I would say yes, and because it's not that this dressing is not going to preserve this for sure. It's only damage. Like if you want to preserve, like salad for example. Fresh salad for tomorrow, you cut it today and you want it for tomorrow, don't put any dressing, leave it as it is, right? And tomorrow, like before eating, before serving, so you would put dressing on top, right? So meaning the dressing is not good for preservation. Okay, salad dressing. Okay, so part number one, marinating on Yom Tov. It is forbidden to marinate food on Yom Tov, even if one plans to eat it on that day. All the food preparation is normally permitted on Yom Tov. Any preparation that could be done prior to Yom Tov with the same or better result may not be done on Yom Tov. Marinating is included in this category, since the food that was marinated the day before is even tastier, and that which is marinated that day will be eaten. I'm sorry. And that which is marinated the day it will be eaten. Okay. So let's do it one more time. We're going to explain. So marinated on Yom Tov. It is forbidden to marinate food on Yom Tov, even if one plans to eat it this day. So it's possible at night if you marinate something, right? So next day it's going to be ready, right? Technically. But they say no. Why? All the food preparations normally permitted on Yom Tov. Any preparation that could be done prior to Yom Tov with the same or better result may not be done on Yom Tov. And in the very beginning of this book, we said there are two opinions. So one opinion was that if you could you could have done this thing before the Yom Tov, right? So you're not permitted to do it on Yom Tov. Of course, we said our sages. statement. So they said in case of the need and this and that. So like even if he did it intentionally, so we would allow the person to do it with a shinoi, right, with deviation, right? Why? Because for sure, if you marinate food before Yom Tov, maybe 2 or 3 days before, it would be much tastier than you do it like on the day off. Okay. So that's and plus, I'm not sure they did not say it, but the second restriction was actually that you were not allowed to do something on some melachas that usually done on a large scale. Large scales. So large scales meaning I don't think anybody marinates only one pickle or something, right? People usually marinate a lot. Okay. Vegetables. Okay. So, but anyway, it is forbidden. Part number 2: salting vegetables on Yom Tov. Salting is unlike marination. Is that food generally cannot be salted a day before it is eaten. So that's the difference of salting. Okay. Many authorities therefore state that the prohibition against salting does not apply to Yom Tov. Okay. Meaning, okay, let's read, then we're going to return. There is an opinion that the prohibition against salting nevertheless applies. The poskim write that since one can avoid the prohibition by salting in the manner it is permitted on Shabbos, one should preferably abide by the stringent opinion. Okay, so let's do this one more time. We're going to explain. Salting is unlike marination in that the food generally cannot be salted a day before it is eaten, right? As we said, marination you did it 3 days before, 5 days before, it's perfect, right? Salting, it's not going to work very well for us, right? So you need like salad, right? You need to salt now. Many authorities therefore state that the prohibition against salting does not apply on Yom Tov, since basically based on the reason that would prohibit marinating, right? Because you could have done it even with better result before. Okay, so okay, but salting is not, so you cannot salt in advance. Okay. However, there is an opinion that the prohibition against salting nevertheless applies. Okay. So meaning do it strict on Shabbos, like one piece at a time. The poskim, so meaning for immediate use. The poskim write that since one can avoid the prohibition by salting in the manner that is permitted on Shabbos, one should preferably abide by stringent opinion. So poskim said, since we just gave you two options how to salt on Shabbos, right? One option is to salt one piece at a time, and another option we said to apply some kind of liquid, that like olive oil or something else, right? That salt is not going to be as strong. Okay. Continue. However, some authorities rule that even on Shabbos, its prohibition applies only to salting vegetables heavily, to the degree that it's comparable to marination or the tanning of hides. Merely salting food lightly at meal for a flavor is not included in prohibition of salting. Although one should not rely on this opinion on Shabbos, one may rely on this on Yom Tov, since as stated above, many authorities permit salting outright on Yom Tov. Okay, so let's do this piece one more time. We're going to explain. However, some authorities rule that even on Shabbos, the prohibition applies only to the salt and vegetable heavily. So heavily means like comparing to hides. To hides that they would put some this chemical that would cover completely the hides. So maybe that's what they mean heavily. Okay, to a degree that it's comparable to marination of the tanning of hides, meaning right. Marination or tanning of hides. Okay, so meaning it's a lot. I'm not sure how much salt they add, but I think they add a lot of salt. Okay, for marination. Merely salting food lightly at the meal for a flavor is not considered the prohibition of the salting. Okay, so meaning that if like lightly for a salad or something. So according to this opinion, again, we try not to rely on this on Shabbos, but on Yom Tov we can. Although one should not rely on this opinion on Shabbos, one may rely on Yom Tov, since, as stated above, many authorities permit salting outright on Yom Tov. Okay, no problem. Continue. Practically speaking, then one may salt vegetables slightly for the flavor on Yom Tov. Okay. However, if one needs to salt the vegetables heavily, one should preferably. I'm not sure why would somebody eat so much salt, but heavily. So lightly, okay, we got it. Right, heavily. Salt each piece separately. Okay, so that's same on Shabbos. So meaning what? It's for sure. I'm not trying to preserve for the next day. It's for now. Okay, one piece separately, each piece separately. B, pour oil or similar liquid on food, preferably before the salting. Right, so that the potency of the salt is diminished. So that's a perfect second solution. Part number 3. So it's and we finish the chapter. Preparing salt water. It is permitted to make salt water on Yom Tov without any restriction. On Shabbos, however, one may prepare only small amount before meal. There is only what is needed for the meal. Okay, so the biggest issue it's on Pesach. I'm not sure if anybody like uses salty water. I mean, I'm not sure for what. Okay, maybe people do, but I'm not aware of. Like except Pesach, right? So again, on Yom Tov, you can prepare the salty water. On Shabbos, but again, if you prepare the salty water, for example, and use it as we use it on Pesach, just to dip something, there is no problem whatsoever, because it's not like you preserve it. You dip in order to eat. There is no problem whatsoever. On Shabbos, however, one may prepare only a small amount before a meal, meaning that's only for, it's not for preservation. There's only what is needed for that meal, and the salt must be less than 2/3 of the mixture. 2/3 of the mixture. It's a lot. Right? So it's less than 2/3. So okay. So but 2/3, I think it's very, very salty. When Pesach falls on Shabbos, one should prepare the salt water for Seder before Shabbos begins. Right? And it's the most common mistake that people do. They forgot to do that because it's so simple to prepare. They prepare everything beside the salty water. So it's usually in the books preparation for Pesach there is a checklist what you should do, right? Before the begins. In an event that one did not prepare it before Shabbos, one should prepare in accordance with the guideline just described, meaning less than 2/3 concentration. Oh, okay. Any questions on what we said? Salted and marinated. Okay, no problem. So continue then with next chapter. Just 1 second. Our next chapter is 17. And very interesting topic. Creating new entity, molit. So meaning an entity that did not exist before. Okay. One area in which Halachos of Yom Tov are significantly more lenient than those on Shabbos is that of molit, creating a new entity, and nolad, causing to creation of the creation new entity. In this chapter, we'll examine these prohibitions and the laws pertaining to Yom Tov. So again, molit, it's creating new entity, meaning you take some actions, and nolad is like a grammar, right? Not indirectly. So you do something, but the result is going to be like this. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Number one, create a new entity. The sages instituted a prohibition against making something new on Shabbos. Okay, even where it does not involve any Melachah. The prohibition is known as molit, creating a new entity. Okay. Was enacted because making something new resembles Melachah. For example, it is forbidden to crush ice or any frozen liquid on Shabbos, because by doing so, he creates new entity, liquid. The same prohibition applies to dissolving a frozen item by other methods, such as pouring hot water over it, shaking, rubbing, or stirring. Some poskim rule that on Yom Tov this prohibition applies chiefly if one creates something that did not previously exist at all. For example, it is forbidden to strike a match to create a flame, even for the sake of cooking food on Yom Tov meal. Merely changing something from one form to another, such as solid to liquid, or vice versa, is permitted for the sake of Yom Tov meal. The following are some practical application of the rule. So before we go to practical application, we need to know the basis. So again, it's creating something that did not exist before Shabbos. So whether through our action or indirectly. So through our actions is nolat and molit, and indirectly is nolat. Okay. Just 1 second. So again, let's say it again. So the prohibition known as molit, creating new entity, was enacted because making something new resemble Melachah. So meaning Melachah, meaning that the definition of Melachah, we do something, some action, and it produces a positive result, right? For example, it is forbidden to crush ice in any frozen liquid on Shabbos. So, but just to melt ice, there is no problem. Melt ice meaning you put a few cubes of ice into your coffee because it was too hot. There is no problem, right? Because it's indirectly. Okay. 1 second. Because by doing so, one creates new entity, liquid. Okay, so when you crush the ice, so if you took ice from your freezer and let it stand on the counter and it melted, no problem whatsoever. Okay, but to crush it, so meaning you make the process quicker. That's the issue. Liquid. The same prohibition applies to dissolving a frozen item by other methods, such as pouring hot water over it. So meaning, again, you do some activity, right? You put in some water over it. So, but putting ice into the cup of hot water, it would be indirectly. Shaking, right? Shaking, rubbing, or stirring. Okay, so it would be forbidden. Okay, so meaning to dissolve it faster. Okay. Continue. Some poskim rule that on Yom Tov, this prohibition applies chiefly if they creates something that did not previously exist at all. So very interesting. So not exist at all. Not meaning on Shabbos it would be forbidden like to apply direct action to go from one from one form into another. For example, it was liquid that congealed, right? And now we want to like a gravy or something, like, and now we want to melt it. So Ashkenazim do not warm up the liquids. Period. Not any liquids, even they did not congeal. And one of the reasons would be like this one, right? Noat, right? But if you want to eat this chicken, for example, with a gravy, you can take the chicken on the countertop, not next to the source of the fire, and there is no problem. So because of the room temperature, so you did not do anything active, right? Because of the room temperature, it's going to be like not as cold, right? And and the gravy would melt, there is no problem. Okay. So one more time. One more time. Some poskim rule that on Yom Tov the prohibition applies chiefly if one creates something that did not previously exist. So as we said, on Yom Tov it's much more lenient. Okay, so not what did not previously exist. For example, it is prohibited to strike a match to create a flame, but to take a match and from one candle, for example, or from a stove and light the candle, there is no problem. It's not, you're not creating new flame, you just transferring that flame into another place. Okay, and you can use it with the match. There is no problem. You can transfer as match, no problem. Okay. So for example, it is prohibited to strike a match to create a flame, even for the sake of cooking food on Yom Tov, right? So we said many things are allowed for the need of Yom Tov, right? And for the need of Yom Tov is what? Of cooking. So maybe I can strike a match. It's for cooking, which is allowed, and it's for the enjoyment of Yom Tov. They say absolutely not. Merely changing something from one form to another, such as solid to liquid or vice versa, is permitted for the sake of Yom Tov meal. Okay, so meaning to warm up soup, right, or something like this, chicken with gravy would not present any issue on holiday. Okay, the following even for Ashkenazim, the following are some practical application of this rule. Okay, so A. Any questions before we continue? So because we covered the basis, but now we're going to the examples. Any questions? Yes, go ahead, please.
Sorry, Rabbi, I forgot to make a question that I had about the marinating thing.
Okay, go ahead.
So when it says that on Shabbos it is forbidden to marinate a food item in a spicy liquid such as vinegar, salt water, pickle brine. So does this prohibition also include marinating with spices that come in the shape of powder?
I don't think that's not how you marinate things with the powder. No. So marinated, the whole idea of marinated, it's preserving that you can use eat this food. I don't know in a later time, right? So, but when you marinate things in a brine, so you can eat it like a year later, 5 years later. I mean, it depends what you add there, but technically the food should not go bad in the marinade. That's the thing. But if you just put the powder, it's not going to preserve. So it's not that. Got it?
Thank you, Rabbi. No, I think I'm kind of confused because I thought marinating will be putting like certain food for some sort of a long period of time to something that is going to improve the taste of this food. Like, for example, if I take, I don't know, some chicken, some fish, or whatever, and I leave it overnight in a mixture of, I don't know, like garlic.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
Whatever. I thought this was marinating, but I guess.
I mean, it is also marinated. Yeah. So you can marinate. There are two like things for marinate. Marinate in order, as you said, preparation for the next step of cooking. Right. It is true. And then second is marinated for as a preservation. So it's different. I think if I'm not a big cook, but as my wife explained to me, so if you use just salt, like mostly salt or other spices, it's pickling with the salt. But if you use vinegar, it's more marinating. So it's different tastes. You understand? So if you buy marinating in a store, right? So it's for sure it has vinegar, for sure. Okay. But if you do pickles, most likely there's no, maybe a little vinegar, but for a taste, but not for preservation. The main part for preservation would be salt. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, just to make this clear, if I find a way of marinating a food, certain food, not for the sake of preserving the food, but to improve the taste, and using an entity that is not gonna change either the quality or the texture of the food, would this be allowed then?
I mean, if it's on Yom Tov, for Yom Tov, there is no problem. It's like you salting. They say you're allowed to salt, and you're allowed to dip into vinegar or some dip that you create. There is no problem. There is no problem because it's for now. You do it for the sake of the meal. There is no problem.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
There's a question.
Okay, go ahead.
The board, it says, thank you very much for the Shiur. Some time ago, Rabbi explained to me that matches and candles are not muktzah during Yom Tov. But I forgot to ask if we should put the Yom Tov candles next to the dinner table, as in Shabbos, or could they be placed in the kitchen for avoiding, in order to avoid trouble to go next to the dinner table? Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay, so that's an amazing question. So it's actually the same answer is for Yom Tov and Shabbos. So we have to derive some benefit from the candles. So, for example, if you have a huge chandelier above your Shabbos table, right? The two little candles or whatever, how many candles you lit, they're not going to make much difference, right? But when you prepare food, for example, you don't have enough light, right? And you would use this candle, they would play a big role, so that you can light the candles there, right? So there's no, but you have to derive some benefit, practical benefit from these candles. And one of the practical benefit, if you put it on a table, you have on a table, dinner table, a few candles, and you have the chandelier with, I don't know, how many, 400 watts, I don't know, a lot of watts, 300, I don't know, like very, very bright, right? So you need to derive some benefit from the candle, otherwise you're not allowed to say the blessing. So you put Tehillim next to it, and you read some Tehillim, say something, like you use the light. But second, like practically light. If you put it on a counter, no problem. I mean, if you need the light there, yeah, for sure. So, for example, in my house, we don't have. I mean, we have the light in the kitchen, but we leave it off because we have a light in a dining room. I mean, it's close. It's not like room and room. It's a tiny area and next to tiny area, right? So we have like above the table we have a light, and there on the counter we don't have a light. There is like a small, like under the cabinet light, if you feel bulbs, right? But if you like tiny, right, LED. But if you would put candles there, you would benefit for sure, right? So for food preparation, for cleaning, this and that. So do one of the two. So say Tehillim if there is for sure no benefit from this light other than beauty. So or you use it in a place where you actually eat, right, and you can benefit, one of the two. Okay. Any other questions or continue?
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay, you're welcome. So let's do a little more. Okay, continue. Some poskim rule that on Yom Tov, this prohibition applies chiefly to creating something new. Sorry, I think we said that. Chiefly, okay, let's... created something that did not previously exist at all. For example, it is prohibited to strike a match. Okay, that's how it started, with a match. Okay, so all right, okay, we said that. Okay, so next, so examples: put in hot water over the congealed gravy. If one needs to clean the pot in order to cook food on Yom Tov, in it, one is permitted to pour hot water over the congealed gravy inside it. So it's very good example. So on Shabbos, for example, we were talking about soaking dishes, right? So soaking dishes. So you have like a dish pan, like this plastic or whatever. I mean, we have plastic. So you put some water, warm water, right, before Shabbos. Of course, it's going to go cool down, but you put some soap, and then you put your dirty dishes in there. There is no problem, right? So it doesn't matter. Like you put it in a sink, you put it on a counter, or you put it in a dish pan. I mean, no, that doesn't make any difference, right? But the point is, it would be easier to cook. It would be easier to wash them after Shabbos on one hand, right? That's the only thing. So the issue is, what is the issue? So the issue is if you have the water still warm. For example, you have some kind of cover. The water is still warm, or you pour from kettle or something, right? There is warm water. So and you are sitting around at the table. So now the gravy that you from the food is actually congealed. So it's a problem. It's a hard substance, right? And now you put it in the warm water, and it's going to dissolve it, right? That's the thing. That's the issue. So one more time, put in the hot water over the congealed gravy, but in this case, since you're allowed to cook, right, and it's for Yom Tov need, you can wash this pot. There is no problem. And in general, big pots are actually the muktzah on Shabbos, for sure on Shabbos. Why? Because you're not allowed to cook, and we usually don't use the big pots for storage. So even if for storage, yeah, maybe like you had a bigger pot of the soup, yeah, you can put like there's like, and it's let's say, I know, 20% less left. So you would not put the whole pot in the refrigerator. Like, at least we have limited refrigerator. Maybe somebody have huge. That's a difference. So right. So you pour in a small pot, right, and put it there. So the smaller pot, yeah, they're not muktzah because they're always usable. But the bigger pot, but there is no use the muktzah. But on Shabbos, it's not. It's not. Right, so these big pots would be problem to move, right, on Shabbos, even dirty one. Okay, so if it's still food there is no problem. If it's something edible on the bottom, yeah, there is no problem. But otherwise, it is a problem. So here one more time is example. If one needs a clean pot in order to cook food on Yom Tov, in it, one is permitted to pour hot water over any congealed gravy that is inside it, although one thereby dissolve the gravy and creates a new entity, right? So for sure, right, it was congealed and now it's going to be liquid. Since one did not create new substance, by doing so, but merely change the form for gravy from solids to liquids. So right, that's good example. It is permitted for the sake of day's meal. Again, for the day's meal, and it's to transfer from one to another. It's on Yom Tov. Okay. This is similarly permitted for the sake of cleaning the plate that was needed for the meal on that day. However, it is forbidden when the pot or the plate is no longer needed for day-to-day use. Okay, so let's. It's a lot of information. Should we start from the beginning? So we got about the pot. So let me start after the pot. Okay. Since one does not create a new substance by doing so, meaning pouring water into this pot. So and it is for the needs of Yom Tov, but merely changes from gravy from solid to liquid. It is permitted for the sake of day's meal. So meaning in general it would not be permitted, right? And sometimes people want to wash their dishes a little, right? For after fish. So it's like if you eat herrings or some other fish, they taste very good, but the smell after sometimes it's not so good. So even though you allowed on Shabbos to wash these dishes with a cold water, right? But it's for the sake of respect of Shabbos, so they would not smell. But in warm water, in warm, you would not be allowed. Okay. Okay. Because as it says here, it's not for today, right? It's preparations basically. And you can do the same with the cold water. Okay. This is similarly permitted for the sake of cleaning plate that is needed for the meal on that day. And it's already congealed, and you will wash it with hot water. Okay. However, it is forbidden when the pot or plate no longer needed for that day. So we got the idea. If it's going to smell bad, right, you would be allowed even with warm water, just on Yom Tov, and with a cold water on Shabbos. Right, that's a different permission. Okay. So next one, B, whipped cream. So whipped cream is, I think, it's the biggest issue. It is permitted to discharge whipped cream from the pressurized can on Yom Tov, even though it is tantamount to manually transform the liquid cream into solid whip. Right, so I think on Shabbos it would not be allowed. I think, if I remember correctly. So you have whipped cream. I'm not sure why would you use it on Yom. It's dairy. Maybe there is no one that is not dairy. I'm not sure. I'm not a big expert in the whipped cream, but the ones that I know, they're all dairy. So I mean, I'm not sure exactly what you're going to eat, but whatever you want. So basically, on Yom Tov there is no problem because it's not a new entity; it just changes the form. So inside of the can is a liquid, but when it comes out is a solid, right? So there is no problem on Yom Tov, but there is a problem, if I remember correctly, on Shabbos. But anyway, as I said, it's daily. Like when exactly you're going to eat it. If you wait 6 hours, I mean, if people don't eat meat, that is a different story. Okay, continue. C, making juice from concentrate. On Yom Tov, it is permitted to stir or crush frozen concentrate and make juice. So they sell it in tablets or something, right? This juice, and they say put so much water in this. Usually it's a lot of water for one concentrate, and you basically stir. If you don't stir, if you just leave it like that, it's going to take a very long time because you usually keep this concentrate in the freezer. Okay, but he said since it is for the need of Yom Tov, and it's not totally new, it's just converting from solid into liquid, so you're allowed to crush and stir. Any questions before we continue? Going to part number 2.
Rabbi?
Yes, go ahead.
So about this issue of transforming something like liquid into something else, I buy this hand soap, and the dispenser of this thing, when I press it, I mean the hand soap comes like liquid, but when I press the thing, what comes out of it is foam. I don't know what this thing does inside of the mechanism or whatever, but I believe this would be transforming the soap from liquid to foam. Would this be forbidden in Shabbos? On Shabbos?
I don't think so, because you did not do anything specifically, and it's still the form is. So the basic question is form is liquid or solid. That's the thing. I would say the form is more liquid than solid, I think. So and then plus I'm here. Whatever I'm saying now, I'm just going by logic. Yeah, it's not 100% halacha, but logically, right? And when you wash your hands, so you would create foam anyway, like many times. Of course, it's not intentional. That's not what you wanted. So I think should not be any issue. I think. Okay, it's at least it should not be any issue. Okay. Any other questions before we continue?
You're welcome. Yeah, there's a question on the board. It says, Shalom B'Allah. Regarding this topic, is baby food considered solid? Because I also make juice with it. Thank you, Rabbi.
So one second. Is baby food considered to be solid? Here, one second. Baby food, it's a different problem with the baby food. The problem with the baby food, if you have what is it? Is it like powder? The way I understand. So correct me if I'm wrong. So you have a powder, and then you add milk or you add juice and you mix it. That's a different melacha. It's melacha of kneading, like making dough. That's the thing. So the definition in general, halachic definition of liquid, something that is going to pour, maybe even slower, right? But it's going to go. If you put it like kind of slope, it's going to go down, right? That's the definition of liquid. So, like in this this baby formula, it would not be allowed. Like if you add a lot of liquid right away and make a mixture, it would be allowed. But to make it like a paste would not be allowed. So it's like a dough. Okay. Did we answer the question, or they meant something else?
No, our friend was referring to compote. This is
So, but what does it mean? Is it's like a thick liquid, or I don't know?
It's like mashed fruit, like very almost. Oh, I would say almost liquid. It's like a puree, like a
puree.
I don't
Okay.
know, it's about this in between liquid and solid. I don't know.
So, but how do you make it? You put hot water in there, or how do you make it? I don't know.
Usually they sell it already made. Like
so what is it? One second. So what is the problem there? No, but what is the problem there? I don't understand.
Your friend was asking if this thing would be considered liquid.
Okay. So it's not about what are we learning here. Okay, is it liquid? It depends. So if is then second my answer would be, see, I didn't realize that we're talking about this substance. Yeah. So if you can pour, yeah, then it's liquid. If you cannot pour, so it's not liquid. That's the thing.
So Rabbi, our friend was asking if this thing was considered solid, not liquid. Sorry.
No. So that's what I said. If you can pour, so it is liquid. So if you cannot pour, like it's going to stay the same, or it's going to like a roll out or something, like a solid pieces. It's considered to be it's considered to be solid. That's it. Okay. Any other questions before we continue?
Thank you, Rabbi. Okay. No, our friend was asking if because she takes this thing and she makes juice with this thing. With this.
Okay, so you what happened? 1 second, what happened? Okay. So basically, take this. What is it? Take this thing and add water to it. Okay, that's the thing. Okay. So is it a new entity? So on Yom Tov for sure there is no problem whatsoever, because we just gave example of this concentrate. So on what is it, on Shabbos, if you're allowed to, I don't think why not, you would not be allowed. No, it's exactly the same thing, but you add the water. There is no problem whatsoever. If it's meaning the question, if it was solid, I don't think we would call it solid. It's more liquidish. I think it's not like if you turn the jar upside down, it's going to flow down as a one mass. It's not separate pieces. So I would say if it is liquid. Okay. So
Thank you, Rabbi.
yes, you're welcome. So I think you can add water to that. Okay. So let's do part number 2, causing the creation of new entity. On Shabbos, it is forbidden not only to create something new, but even to cause the creation of new entity. As you see, we got to it, but that's what he said. Thus, is one may not take frozen liquid near flame or other hot area on Shabbos, because doing so cause them to melt and result the creation of new entity. So meaning somebody that is doing actively, right? As we said, so you cannot take this chicken with gravy, right, and put it next to the flame. Even not over the black, but next to it, because of course the heat goes to the left, to the right, everywhere, like next to the source of the heat. But if you put it like on a countertop, like far away, like if it's going to like warm up and change the status through the normal heat of the room, there is no problem, right? But okay. On Yom Tov, however, this prohibition does not apply in regard to the preparation of the food items for that day use. Therefore, the following apply. Okay. So Yom Tov, there is no problem, as we said. Again, we do it indirectly. Defrosting liquids. It is permitted to defrost frozen liquids on Yom Tov by putting it next to the hot oven. Okay, very straightforward. Similarly, it is permitted to use the margarine or butter for frying, even though they are melted and converted into the liquid in the process. Okay, so now we do something actively, right? Again, defrosting of the liquids, there is no problem. You can put it next to the source of heat, or even right, you can even put it on a source of heat. There is no problem to warm up, right? Similarly, one is permitted to use the margarine. So I mean, for sure it's for margarine, for sure it's or butter, for sure the salads, and then and melt them. Okay. Continue. B. Making ice cubes or frozen ices. It is permitted to make ice cubes or frozen ices of Yom Tov, according to all opinions. Okay. So water, I mean, water is a little different. So water is water, right? So that's, I think the water is, and ice cubes is an exception. Okay, so according, I think to some opinion, even on Shabbos, you're allowed to you make an ice cube, but for Shabbos use. Okay, so C. Freezing liquids for storage. Liquids which are not needed on Yom Tov may not be frozen for storage except to prevent spoilage. Likewise, the dry food that contain gravy may not be frozen unless needed on Yom Tov or prevent spoilage. So let's try to understand this C. Freezing liquids for storage. So in general, right, we said many times that you're not allowed to prepare for a weekday, right? So in some sense, so if I put something in my refrigerator, so it is, I'm preparing for a weekday, because that's it, my meal is over, right? And I'm not going to eat today. So for example, after lunch, right? So I'm not going to eat today until for example, until the nightfall, when the second day of Yom Tov starts. So it's for sure it's not for today. So, but I would just say to prevent the loss of the food, yeah, you're permitted to put it in the refrigerator, not for the sake of next day, even though it is, but my main goal is to prevent spoilage. That's a big deal, right? So, and sages say, since it is one action, like I put this whatever item into the refrigerator or in the freezer. So I have, let's say, two doors, one on top, one on the bottom, right? So I have on the top, I have a freezer. So it doesn't matter. I open the door and put the thing on the shelf. Doesn't matter. So in this case, since it is the same effort, and I need to prevent from spoilage, so our poskim say it doesn't matter what you put. You put it on what is it, in the freezer, or you put it in the refrigerator. Okay, again, it's not preparation for the next day. It's to preserve from spoilage, prevent spoilage. Okay, I think we can stop here. Yeah, it's a good time. We can stop here. So, any questions on what we said or did not say? Go ahead.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
This question on the board says, when making a tea or instant coffee and we need to use two vessels, do we just pour water into an empty cup and then into the second cup with the tea?
Okay, so it's a good question. Let me answer this question completely. First of all, our class we just finished was about Yom Tov. Okay, so on Yom Tov, you don't need to do these things. So you can, for example, you have this water urn. So you put your coffee, instant coffee, you put your, sugar into a cup and you pour water. There is no problem. You can put milk in that cup or whatever you do. There is no problem. Because there is no problem with cooking on Yom Tov. Right? Cooking is allowed on Yom Tov. Okay, so that's one thing. Instant tea is it was already cooked, no problem whatsoever. So in some sense, it's like instant tea or instant coffee. It's exactly the same thing, right? No problem. So on Yom Tov, you actually can use tea bags, right? So you can pour water on tea bags. But on Shabbos there is a problem, meaning what? That on Shabbos we're not allowed to cook. So that's why when we have to make our coffee or instant tea in a tertiary vessel number 3. So clearly shown, the first vessel is when this water was boiled, meaning the water urn or wherever you keep your hot water, right? So and from that you put a second cup, right? So empty cup, of course. And on the third cup, you prepare your your instant tea. You put your instant tea, you put whatever you want, and then from a second cup, you pour this water in the third cup. That's how you make tea on Shabbos. The tea bags, according to Ashkenazic tradition, not allowed on Shabbos. I mean, if they were not prepared before. I mean, prepare if you don't put like a tea essence, like would not be allowed to do. But according to Sephardic custom, the way I understand, not everybody hold by that, but many people do. That you can put you use a tea bag in a third cup, same as coffee. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Friend, in regards to this question, also says, do we need to have a special intention?
No, I mean, in this case, no. Because why? Because I'm going to explain. We have knowledge that this coffee or sugar, even though it was cooked, this and that, okay, so it's not going to cooked in a tertiary vessel. That's it. So it doesn't matter if you had intention or not. Even if you had intention to cook, it's not going to cook. So that's very straightforward, actually.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
And Chris says, could a thermos count as the second cup?
It is a second cup. Clearly shown that the first vessel in what this liquid was cooked, that is on a fire, like on any source of heat, or was taken from the source of heat. For example, if you take the hot pot, right, with a cover, right? Let's say it has all of the modern technology or very, very good insulation, right? So you put it on the next to the stove. It's going to be hot for, I don't know for how long, for some time. So until this liquid inside is still Yatzel as well. When you say whole hand recoils, it's still considered to be tertiary first vessel, right? But thermos for sure it's secondary, for sure. No, I mean nobody cooks in thermos. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome. Very good question.
Next question session for the left. When we bought a second-hand book,
Mm-hmm.
and we found that it had a nice dedication for the bar mitzvah of its previous owner.
Mm-hmm.
What should we do with the dedication? Can we read it and be happy, or is it considered theft? Thank you, Rabbi.
No, you do whatever you want with the dedication. You bought the book, so if you want to take it out, cut it out, you can cut it out. There's no problem. If you want to leave it there, you leave it there. Right? There's no problem. So for example, we bought some antique things on the internet, but since it was antique, it was much cheaper, and it has initials of some people. I mean, I know that the initials are there. But, I mean, when we were buying, we saw the picture. It's websites for used things, right? So I saw initial, but my wife said no. Well, why it says this JK? I don't know. I mean, I'm just making up. So I said, who cares about JK? I mean, do we know who these people are? I don't know. Maybe this thing is from 80 years ago. Maybe they're not longer alive. Who cares? Understand? So I mean, you get used to, and you don't even notice these things. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So in regards to this question, I don't know if our friend was referring to perhaps stealing the joy from the dedication, because our friend mentioned to read the dedication and feel happy about it.
Okay, you can feel happy about it, but the problem is why this book was given away. That's the issue, right? I think. Maybe it was never right. I mean, maybe it's very, very sad. Maybe you're doing a favor of this person. So it says, let us read this book. Maybe it's some merit for that person. I think we made a clip some time ago. So it's a famous story, but since it came up, let me tell you the whole story. So it was one guy. Right, it was his wedding, right, and they invited Rabbi. So and mother and father say, "Honey, you're not going to believe we found that special Rabbi that did your bar mitzvah 15 years ago, or how many years ago, and he's still there, and he's very glad, very happy to meet you." And the rabbi comes into the room, and this boy starts screaming and yelling the whole like he's a thief. Take him out! I don't want to get married with this thief. Get me somebody kosher. And this rabbi came out embarrassed. Said, "What did I steal from you? I remember you from many years ago. It was beautiful bar mitzvah. But why and I was a rabbi there. But why you embarrass me like that?" He said, "You thief! You stole my kiddush cup." I said, "I stole your kiddush cup? What kiddush cup?" He said, "Yes, my grandparents gave me beautiful silver kiddush cup, and it was so nice and beautiful, and everybody complimented me, and then everybody went to dance, and I saw you, but I saw you from the far. You look at the cup, you took it somewhere, and you never came back, and right, and since then, since the day of bar mitzvah, I never saw this kiddush cup. So how do you call it? Not stealing?" And everybody looking at this rabbi. This rabbi is embarrassed, elderly person. He's red, he's white, he's this, he's that. And he said, "Oh, I remember. You know what? I remember exactly what happened. I said that there were many guests, many strangers out of town, this and that. And I saw this beautiful, very expensive silver Kiddush cup. And it was used. So I went to rinse it. I dried with a towel and I put it in your tefillin bag. So he said, looks like you never used to tefillin since then. You understand? So that's what many people do. They use something like a bar mitzvah for a presentation, and fortunately, tefillin he never put. If he would put tefillin one time in his life, after the bar mitzvah, he would find this Kiddush cup. So same with this book. People give gifts. Just a memory. I think people should preserve it. So if they gave it away, so yeah, make use of it, and maybe say, let's also dedicate our learning to the Shiur of that person. Maybe he should seek back this book and maybe learn with us, and maybe I don't know, right? Especially for money. If somebody gives you a gift, said, no, look, I see you're new to Judaism, and I have this book. I read it 6 times. I got it as a bar mitzvah, but I want to give you as a good friend and this and that. So I understand that, the gesture. But if you sell it, that's not good. Okay, unless person needed money. But okay. What else?
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Yeah, friend was commenting. Says, should we contact the previous owner? Yes, I thought about it. Perhaps the book was sold due to an emergency. That's what
Maybe, yes. So don't remind them. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question says, Shalom, Rabbi, are we allowed to throw pictures out or rip pictures out, either of ourselves or other people? Thank you, Rabbi.
Yeah, there is no problem. No problem whatsoever. So I know what the person is talking about. In some culture, there's a bad sign if they take if they rip the picture. And I remember like long time ago, somebody would show me the family album, like in the days where they have family album many years ago. And when we got to some period of time in this album, so many pictures were carved out. So they looks like he had this aunt and she divorced with his uncle. So they cut uncle out, maybe cut it and burn it. I don't know. That's it was a little unusual to put to say the least, to see like carved out. Okay, but there is no problem. There is no holiness in the picture. If it's, I would say, if it's a picture of the tzaddik, I would not rip it. So if it's possible to put in a gniza, it would be preferable. But our pictures, there is no problem. So I mean, don't throw it. Just put it like indirectly. So you would be destroying but indirectly. Put it in recycling or something. That's it. So.
Thank you much, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So I was wondering if someone, for whatever reason, is having, I don't know, diarrhea on Shabbos, during Shabbos. And we know that dehydration could be something very problematic. Is this person allowed to drink some Pedialyte, or would this be considered refuah?
No, because it's this diarrhea is a big distress. Yeah, so you can drink whatever you need to. Yes.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So, okay, while our friends start, let me see. Yeah, I don't see more questions on the board so far. So, okay, so in the meantime, I was wondering, I know I've I mentioned this thing several times about the witchcraft thing, which is kind of a thing here in where I live. And so there's this person that is kind of close to one of my family members, and this person loves to give away food. She loves to give food, and as far as I'm concerned, this person is very much into witchcraft. So I was wondering, would it be like dangerous? Of course, I would not receive anything from this person at all. But would it be dangerous to take some food from this person that this food that this person likes to give away?
I think so. Right? All of the is same havdalah, same as all of the miracles. For all of the miracles, you need something tangible. Right? When Eliyahu Hanavi came to that woman and said, "What do you have in your house?" She said, "We're going to die." So he said, "I'm very, very hungry. Can you give me some food?" She said, "Look, I only have a little bit of flour. So I have two sons, young sons. Husband died, and we're going to make this food to small cakes. We're going to eat, and we're going to die. That's it. You know. So and we have a little crude of oil." So he said, "Please, can you please give it to me? I'm hungry." So and she gave them this one of the like pieces of bread she made, right? And he blessed her. That is, he said, "Well, what do you have in your house?" And she has I have the little oil, right? So he said the blessing, and he said, "Go gather all of the vessels from all of your neighbors and start pouring oil and sell the oil." And no, he said, "Gather all of the empty vessels that you can borrow." She said, "Okay." So she went home and she started pouring the oil, and it's continued flowing until the last vessel was full. And he told her to take the oil, go to the market, sell it, and live from the proceeds. So basically, like all of these miracles, and still the same with Elisha. So he took some earth, threw into the water, right? And so it became sweet, right? Meaning all of the miracles come from were done through the media of some physical things, not from nothing. Same as Moshe Rabbeinu, right? So same is here. So lehavdil, but the opposite, meaning tumah, working exactly the same thing. It has to come from some physical entity. So this lady that likes to do spells and stuff like that, so she can put all of the tumah of hers on this physical entity. So for sure, it's not allowed to take it. Even for other people, forget about that. But even other people.
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
Okay,
that's very helpful. And it's a shame because it's a lot of food, and there's a lot of poor people coming over to get some food, but still.
Oh yeah, you're not obligated to stop them, but for somebody that's close to you, so who is going to listen to, I mean, if they're hungry and that's it, I mean, you're not going to stop with your tumah speech, you know, and tahara speech, you know, that they're not going to listen to. But somebody's close to you, yeah, we should tell them, warn them. They can do whatever they want, but we can at least give them the knowledge. Okay. Do you have any other questions, or have some material if you want?
Thank you, Rabbi. Yeah, well, I have a few more questions,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's in regards to this issue as well. This person also has, she gave my mom, a new pair of shoes. The sneakers, they seem to be very fancy. So I don't know, should she keep them, or, I mean, is there some problem with shoes?
There's no problem with shoes. No problem with things. The only problem is it's like a bribe. right? So which like when a person accepts the gift, so he or she feels obligated to other person. And I think in one of the classes I read from Michtav Eliyahu, Rabbi Dessler itself, so he commented, maybe I did not, maybe I intended to, but for sure we made the clips. I'm not sure if we released these clips or not, but it says on the first line from Tehillim, so happy is the one who never walked, right, in the counsel of the wicked, never stood and never sat. And Rav Dessler that said, so of course I said it in a clip better, but now without preparation, right? So it says, so you were not allowed to associate with ourselves with the wicked people, and even if they are not wicked, not going like they're not talking religion to you, right? The specialist, right? Some secular doctor, right? He does not care about God. He does not care about anything, right? Only how he cares about only he's being great. You understand? So it says unless you Rabbi Dessler Zatzal said, unless you have like very very like urgent thing and there's nobody else but this doctor, don't go to him. Why? Because the next step, he's going to help you, right? He's a good doctor after all, and you would have you will feel appreciative, and it's going to create some kind of closeness, and you start talking, and then you do what's standing. So next time, first walking, then standing meaning to spend some time. And he, guess what? No, there is no such a thing that exists in the world. Like an evil person, like this Rasha person who like hold himself back or hold herself back from sharing her unbelievable, valuable opinion about God and about everything. It's only a matter of time. Guess what? It's only a matter of time, and they know you and how this important to you. They're going to share this poison, and guess what? And they share their poison, and you swallow because you did not answer, because rebuke, because look, it's doctor, he helped me, maybe I should be appreciative. And guess what? The next step is going to be, you're going to be sitting with them. Right? You're going to get used to. You're going to be not as like aggressively like pushing it back. Right? That's the explanation. So these sneakers, is there any problem with sneakers? No, there's no problem with taking receiving gifts. But what is going to come next? This familiarity with that. Rasha, that's the issue. So one person, I don't hold him very high, and he knows that, and he was trying like to negotiate with me things, religion, this clown. So of course I pushed back very hard, and he like before mincha, right? He meets me. He said, "Look, I want to give you a gift. You give me such a musar." I stop it. I know you, but I did not say, but I said, "Yeah, thank you very much. I want to give you a gift." And we were arguing. The guy was pushing me a book. I don't remember what book he bought it. I said, I'm not going to take the book. He said, no, it's only a book. We are friends with this. He said, isn't it a problem to say that? I said, yes, it is. For me, it's a great problem to take a book. So I told him why. Not like from a Talmud. I'm not going to repeat what I said. So he was shocked, and people were heard. Like I said, why don't you take? I don't want anything. Zero. He said, can you take a postcard? Not like a gift, like a card, like a thank you, I appreciate you very much. Say, okay, card I can take, but book, give it to somebody. Like, yeah, you understand? So because he was trying to push on me this lefty liberal things, so you understand? I mean, not push. I will push back very hard, and he was very embarrassed. I remind you what he came from. And he came from the biggest, like the holiest, like not came from, but his teachers, and he said it several times, were the holiest people in the past generation who walk on this earth, the holiest. The whole group of these people, it's like they everybody say it's them Melachim. It's from Mir Yeshiva, that these people who got stuck in Shanghai. They did not know, they thought maybe the world is over, and this rabbi, he instituted the shift. They were working, learning Torah 24 hours a day, because he did not know because all Europe was in flame. In America, there is, don't count on America, there was no Judaism there, almost. Yeah, you understand? On Israel, where there is a Zionist, of course. I mean, there were a few religious people there, so they did not know if there's still Jews in everywhere, right? Like in Russia, nobody learned. Like maybe some, but right, doesn't matter. So these holiest people and all the miracles, how they survived the war, and one of these, and he knew the main rabbi. And one of these holiest people, the Mashgiach, was his rabbi. Like in his when he was in the yeshiva, like how can you go like sitting at the same table, Shabbos table, like he was a younger fellow with this person and be rotten today, like you understand? But unfortunately, when you around these people, like you becomes less immune. And to this lefty liberal and be nice to everybody despite Hashem. Like Hashem is like. Unfortunately, that's what. And he tried to give me the book. I said, absolutely not. I said, if you want, I can buy you 7 books. I buy any books you want. Okay, leave me alone. Okay, he did, but he got the message. Okay, so you understand. So same as here. It's not about the sneakers. It's not about the book. It's about the principle that what is going to come next. Nobody gives you a gift unless you're a close friend and you want to. And you feel obligated to that person. But if there is no close relationship, they give you something and they ask you for a kidney in return. That's usually with this. Okay. What else?
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Very, very helpful. We have like 2, 3, 4, like 4 additional questions on the board. I don't know if we should, read the questions, or perhaps Koda wants to.
Okay, so let me do this book a little. So I left it, and then we go back to the questions. So it's mind blowing. It's from my previous class, what I had before this one. So we're going to learn. It's from Melachim base. It's Miyam Loaz, right? On the story when Eliyahu Hanavi was taken, right? So he was working with Elisha. I think we said some things about this story before. I made 4 clips about it. Like I'm not sure they released it or not. That's it. I don't think so. I don't think it did not release it yet. I made it some time ago, and now it's a final episode when Eliyahu and Elisha, his students, were walking on another side of the Jordan River, and the chariot came from, like, everybody knew that Eliyahu is to be taken to Shamayim, right? And what happened? It's Melachim base, part 2, and chapter is also 2. Yeah, chapter 2. And verse number 11. And it says, so it was that they were walking and talking, and behold, there was a chariot of fire, or horses of fire, right? And they separated between the 2 of them. Then Eliyahu went up, mighty wind, to heaven. So it was like tornado or something. He went to heaven. So the question is, why, like, this heavenly chariot? Why do we need to separate people? Okay, just take him in the wind and that's it, right? So listen to this explanation, and we're going to explain. While they were walking and discussing the Torah, as they always had, right? So they did not let Eliyahu imminent departure distract them. So meaning these two holy people, Eliyahu, right, and his student Elisha, they knew that it's only a matter of minutes, hours, whatever, but it's going to happen today, that Eliyahu is going to be taken, right? And needless, like, they continue to discuss Torah. Some say they were discussing the recitation of Shema. Some say, meaning the creation of the world, and some the final redemption and rebuilding of the temple, and some divine chariot. So whatever topic they discuss. God sent an angel to bring Eliyahu to heaven. But as long as they were speaking words of the Torah, he was powerless. Angel of God was sent by God himself, right, to take on a mission, to take this person, a human of flesh and blood, like to take him in heaven, and he could not. Why? Because they discussed the Torah. So when people ask, like, should I learn maybe 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night, or I should increase to 16 and a half minutes? Right? So here the Torah is saying, like, angel of God on the mission was powerless to take Eliyahu Hanavi. Why? No, not because the Eliyahu Hanavi, because of this also, but because they were learning Torah. He was powerless. Finally, he came between them and interrupted them. So the only way for him to do his job, Hashem sent him, right, to go with the chariot of fire and separate them. Of course, they jump to the separate sides, different sides, and then, right, the moment they stopped discussing the Torah, if they continue he would not be able to, right? The moment they stopped, he lifted Eliyahu up to heaven. Then they returned to God and said, angel returned to God and said, I have fulfilled the mission on which you sent me. But look what a disgrace I was forced to commit to accomplish it. So angel said, yeah, I had to do your will, but I feel disgraced. Why? Because I had to stop the flowing of the Torah. So is Torah important? Okay, judge for yourself. Right, even angel who was sent, the biggest reward. What angel can do is to perform the will of God, right? So, and he was embarrassed. Continue. What happened to Eliyahu? Okay, so let's quickly read because it's very interesting. There is nothing to explain, but quickly, because I don't remember the second point, so I apologize, I didn't mark. What happened to Eliyahu when he went to heaven? Some say his body was burned by heavenly fire, and only the soul remained. So, right, so meaning that nobody would go there with the body, right? This heavenly fire burned the body, only soul remained. Okay, but it's not the main opinion. Though his body did not remain alive, this was not like death of the ordinary people, right? Whose soul leaves their body. Okay, meaning, right? So even the soul went without the body, so it's not like death. Eliyahu ascended bodily and was purified by the unique experience until only the soul remained, as a metal purified in fire. So that's not a taking soul like in a normal manner for other human beings, but he was taken with body and soul on the Shemaim, and then they purified this body, the soul, right, and remove the body. Okay, so it's not death. Others say that the Eliyahu body too remained whole and unharmed. Okay, so that's one of the main opinions. He was carried through the air to the Garden of Eden, where he remained hidden from the rest of the mankind, except for the times that his sent appeared to the righteous to perform their mission. Okay, so I think so this thing is coming up. So second opinion, that he was taken with body and the soul, Garden of Eden, where Adam used to live. So it's good for living there, of course, as we understand. And sometimes he comes here and opens up to the righteous people. Okay, so there are many stories about him coming down. Both Moshe and Eliyahu remained strong and healthy throughout old age. So they did not. They were not taken because they're old and they had to die. No, he was strong, right, and Moshe was strong. Their bodies did not become sick and deteriorate like bodies of most of the old people. Moshe could have continued to live indefinitely. Hear that? Indefinitely. But when it's time approached for the Jews to enter the Holy Land, God decreed that he died. he prepared a special cave for him with a bed to lie on it. So meaning what? What are we trying to say? That Moshe died not because he was old, but because he fulfilled his mission. So he fulfilled his mission, meaning taking the Jews out of Egypt to do all of the miracles, right, for 40 years in desert. But it was mission of Yeshua to take us into the land. You understand? So he died because his mission was fulfilled, but Eliyahu's mission was not fulfilled. Right? There he lay down, meaning he's in his grave, closed his eyes, and his soul left his body, passing from the physical existence to purely spiritual one. So he was spiritual, Moshe Rabbeinu, as we know. It was without a pain or sorrow, for he remained awake, for he remained in a contact with divine presence throughout. So meaning what? That Hashem was giving him commandments, what to do, lay, do this, do that, hands, feet, right? So he was awake, right? And this was called death by kiss. So that's what all of the people, of the righteous people, desire, to die by the kiss of Hashem. So the question is, why didn't Eliyahu die like Moshe, right? So if he was so holy, what is not the most desirable way for a person to end his earthly existence like this? One reason is that unlike Moshe, Eliyahu's task on earth was not completed, right, as we said. So Eliyahu still have a work to do. Moshe had taken Jews out of Egypt, given them Torah, and led them throughout the desert. Okay, that was a great mission. But having completed it, he was ready to leave the world. So meaning, when person thinks that they're perfect, or he or she perfect, meaning that if we're perfect, we'll not be here, right? Because Hashem would take us out from this one. So since we're here, we still have things to fix. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, continue. But Eliyahu had yet to herald the coming of Mashiach and prepare the Jewish people for its final redemption. Why? Because the final coming of Mashiach. Mashiach is a person of flesh and blood, and as all of us, he's going to be impure. So somebody have to purify him. Who is a pure and who is a Kohen? Only one, right? Eliyahu Hanavi, pure and a Kohen. Right. So he had to prepare Jews for final redemption, and as the prophet Melachah said, "Behold, I am sending you Eliyahu Hanavi, prophet, before the coming of the great and awesome day of God." So God arranged that he remained alive in the Garden of Eden. So it's all planned. So all of the people from all of the generations. So Hashem said, "This is the one that is going to bring in Mashiach, right? Until the time arrives, all his needs would be provided for there, and he would be endowed with a body and would never weaken and deteriorate. So, and he would get this body, right? Special body, special treatment. That body would never weaken and deteriorate. And now we're going to compare Eliyahu to Adam, right? So Adam, as we know, was an initial design was for Adam to live forever, right? So a body that can last forever. Okay, but then he switched. That's, for me, it's mind blowing. So it says. This was the opposite in what happened to Adam. Adam was created with a perfect body, means to remain alive forever. He was placed in the most ideal location, Garden of Eden, when you could have lived forever, right? Where he would never experience trouble or want. That's it. Everything is there. Everything is ready. Everything is perfect. Everything is holy. But he sinned by following his physical desires and lost that comfort of an eternal life. Eliyahu, on the other hand, was born. That's mind-blowing. Eliyahu, on the other hand, was born as an ordinary human being, destined to suffer and deteriorate and die. Right? But through his piety and he overcame his physical desire until his entire existence was dedicated to God. Right? So that's his achievement. Right? As we know, all of these things, whether a person is going to be sick or healthy, not up to him, rich or poor, not up to him, tall or short, not up to him, but is he going to be God-fearer or not, is 100% up to him. And Eliyahu Hanavi, he made this choice, right? And even though he was born with a body as all of us, that being destined to suffer, deteriorate, and die, right? But with his piety, he transformed his body on a different level. So he became like Adam. He thereby earned for himself the eternal life like Adam had lost. So Adam had lost, but somebody gained. And it's always like that. The Sarai, right? The name of Sarai. Hashem said no longer she's going to be called Sarai, right? But she's going to be called Sarah. So meaning Yud was lost. And Yud, of course, we know the story, but I just remind us, he was complaining to God, like, how is it possible? I was a part of this holy woman and you just dropped me off, like, threw me away, like, it's not fair. Hashem said, no problem. I'm going to, we're going to use this strictness and the power of Sarah for someone else who need to be strengthened. Who? Hosea, right? Hosea is assistant of Moshe Rabbeinu. When the time came, Moshe Rabbeinu to change his name, Yehashua. Yehashua, Yud comes from Sarah, right? So meaning, like to draw parallel, right? Adam lost it, but it's a precious gift to have to be able to live forever. So it was not lost, but taken away and given to somebody who is worthy. So this guy, Adam, was born with this gift to live forever, right? Into eternal gift, and he lost it, and because of his choices, right? And Eliyahu Hanavi was born to destined to die, to be sick, die, and deteriorate. But because of his choices, right, he made himself like on the one who is deserving to get this eternal life. The rough leather cloak and the leather clothes, right, that he wore instead of softer, more comfortable material, right? So okay, can you imagine this leather clothing, right? It's not the most comfortable, right? Maybe a jacket or something, but not this. Were reminiscent of the clothing skin that God made for Adam and Hava after they sinned, right? So it's like it's not exactly those, but we're going to see the material that they made from. So it's like only, as I say, reminiscent. Okay. For Eliyahu, they represented his rejection of the pleasure of the physical world. So of course, don't try it at home, but I would say just say only abstinence, some things that might lead us to bad decisions, but otherwise we enjoy this world. So we eat normal, we sleep normal, we procreate normal, we do everything normally. So okay, but for him he was on a different level. Right, so he rejected all of the pleasure in the physical world, and he was rewarded, of course. It was only the physicality that these clothes were coarse and inferior. Spiritually, so in physicality is not changed, right? Spiritually, they were among the holiest of the most elevated. What do you mean? They were made from the skin of ram Abraham sacrificed in place of his son Yitzchak. So from the skin of that ram, right, first of all, I think one of the horns is Eliyahu is going to use, right, as a shofar before the coming of Mashiach. But plus, his clothing was from the skin of the sheep. Another reason Eliyahu was granted eternal physical life, while Moshe died, was that Eliyahu's spiritual greatness came through involvement in the physical world. So that's again, as we said, he achieved it himself. Of course, Hashem helped him, but he wanted very much, right? So he was involvement in the physical world. While Moshe came by transcending it, right? So Moshe one was on a very high level. He was with angels, conversing with angels, living there for 40 days, 40 nights, right? Eliyahu was here, hiding in a cave. Moshe worked among the angels even when he was alive. Okay, we said that. So that the heights of Moshe, greatness was reached through the separation from the soul and the body. So Moshe greatness was the separation from soul and the body, as sort of the golden calf, right? What is it? Satan show everybody the body of the Moshe, that he's that. Exactly why? Because the body remained here on the mountain, but Moshe's soul went up the Shemayim. So his greatness, Moshe's greatness, was achieved when the separation body and the soul. Soul went up, body stay here, right? While Eliyahu's greatness was reached by the continued union, meaning continued union, body and soul. He did not go to Shemayim. Eliyahu's zeal and devotion to God and Torah were expressed by his burning intolerance from human imperfection. That's a big one. Right. So again, I'm going to read. Eliyahu's zeal and devotion to God, right? So how his love to God, right? Zeal and Torah were expressed to intolerance to human imperfection. So if somebody is a sinner, he wants him to die, basically, right? He wants him to suffer. Because why? Because he goes against Hashem. Moshe, on another hand, begged God to have mercy on Jews, even when they committed grave sin. So that's a big difference, as we see, between Eliyahu and Moshe. On one hand, they both love God. They wanted to do only best for Jewish people. Eliyahu saw his way, very strict, right? He was intolerant. And Moshe said no, he was actually very tolerant, almost finished. The third reason was that in death Moshe's body was united with earth of the Holy Land. So even though he did not cross the Jordan, but he was buried in a territory of two and a half tribes. So in some sense, he was buried in Holy Land. Okay, in which he yearned to live. So Moshe Rabbeinu wanted always to cross the Jordan with Jewish people. He said, "Please, Hashem, help me, allow me. If you don't want me to cross as a leader, no problem. I'm going to cross as any regular Jew." Hashem said, "No. Let me cross as a cow. Let me cross as a bird. This and that." Hashem said, "Absolutely not." So, but he longed to live and perform mitzvahs. Hashem said, "That's enough for you. You did enough, Moshe. It's counted like you did everything. Stop it." Right? But okay. So, but Moshe wanted to live in the land of Israel, right? And Hashem said, "Okay, maybe you're not going to live, but you're going to lie down, meaning die there, be buried." But Eliyahu, that's this amazing. But Eliyahu raged against the Jewish people, and brought curses and fire and drought upon the land. So because of Eliyahu's words, and Hashem already asked him, begged him, "Eliyahu, stop it! You kill my people with your zealousness. You're too much for this nation, right?" Because of the words of Eliyahu, 3 years they did not rain because of Eliyahu, right? Hashem said, "You're too much. You're too zealous." Right, basically, and then he cursed they cursed the land. He brought the fire, heavenly fire on Mount Carmel, then on to other occasions. Well, when he burned the soldier of Ahaz, I think Ahaz his name, I think, right? So meaning he did some damage to this earth. Right, so one more time. But Eliyahu raged against the Jewish people and brought curses and fire and drought upon their land. It would not have been right for the body to rest within it. Meaning, you curse this land and then we were going to bury your body. Okay, so your body should stay whole until Mashiach comes, and after Mashiach comes. Okay. So that's the thing that I wanted to share with you. I found it fascinating. Okay. Okay, so let's continue. Questions? Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Rabbi. That
You're
was
welcome.
mind-blowing. Very much. Okay. So, next question. Are we allowed to reuse the remaining wax that glues to the candle holder, or using, for example, to glue the base of the havdalah candle to its candle holder? Thank you, Rabbi.
I don't know to use the wax for. I think for a mitzvah it should not be any problem, right? Maybe for some base purposes like that. It would not be allowed, but for a mitzvah there is no problem whatsoever. So you actually, you use one mitzvah and continue for another mitzvah. That's good. Yes.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question. When Kabbalah previously mentioned that the 70 souls that came down to Egypt were called in the singular as nefesh, why was the higher aspect of neshama not used instead? Did Am Israel only receive their neshamot as Sinai?
So here when I say that's a very good question. So nefesh is more as a person, not as a more on a physical level, right? It is true. So we came there as a physical being, not on a spiritual. Okay, spiritual. Of course, you cannot travel, but we travel as a people. Right, so a person cannot be spiritual in their heart, or be religious in their heart. Right? It's our religion is a religion of actions. Of course, there are some things that I done in the heart, or I forbidden done to do in the heart, like to have a grudge. Right? It's in the heart, but Sefer Chachinuch actually explain no, the grudge, according to some opinion, it's when you take an action. So you have the idea, and then you devise some plan, and you start taking an action. That's a grudge. But anyway, but in general, we are religious on action. So meaning to say no, it's very good if I'm going to move there, and it's going to be amazing. No, you just pick up yourself, your family, and you're going. So it's like physical move. Like that person that I know, they used to come to our house, and then it was too much. I mean, it was waste of time. Some people, unfortunately, I needed many years to prove to myself that what I would say it's just waste of time. So it's better to spend your energy, your life on somebody else who is has a lesser to it, like a clip on them. Understand? So this guy said, no, you know what? I am planning to go to Yeshua. I said, go. But you know what? I have now only 1 week, but I have to do this deal, and I have to finish this and that. So I think if I wait till the summer, until the summer, for sure is going to finish this. I would be able to go for 2 months. I said, yeah, but go now for 1 week. Maybe you're not going to like it. So why wait? Of course, that's what I tell him. But he said, no, why should I go for 1 week if I can go to 2 months and I have to pay the travel expense, all of these Yitzhak things. And guess what? He never went. Like 7 years, 8 years later, I said, so, but I just remember, he started the conversation because I annoyed him so much, so many times, I stopped. So I said, so he said, you remember asking me about Shiur? Yes. He said, you know what, now I'm thinking about it, I never went. Never. So he always postponed it for a better time, for the best opportunity, to spend the 6 months, 1 year, 10 years, and guess what? Never went. Right. So, but Judaism is about action. So I can go to yeshiva or to class for 15 minutes because I'm sick, because I have fever. So I'm going to join the class for 15 minutes. I'm not going to you know how many times I could, no, you know why I did not join, you know why I did not do this? I'm going to tell, because I could not have a perfect concentration, because I have this thing going in my job, and that's why I did not join. You did everything else. That's you understand, because you have to. I love these speeches. You have to learn Torah like this dedication, this pure mind, this perfect concentration. Right? Hashem said no. You just learn Torah, and if you can achieve concentration, that's great. If not, so you work on concentration. Still continue to learn Torah. As we saw, right? Angel was sent to take Eliyahu Hanavi by Hashem himself, and he could not. Why? Because they converse in Torah. That's it. Two human beings. Angel could not get involved. Right. So it's. I think I found it very powerful. Like many pieces from this medrash. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question. One question regarding owning money to people that are idol worshippers.
Mm-hmm.
Are we commanded to pay back? And if so, is it the same law for Jews and non-Jews? Thank you, Rabbi.
If we own the money, we must pay back. The only restriction is not to pay back 3 days before the pagan holidays, the idol worshipper holidays. That's it. We must pay back. Doesn't matter. It's stealing. Is it stealing from a Jew a little better than stealing from a non-Jew? I don't know. It's stealing. So if a Jew steals from a non-Jew, I think I have these clips. I have these clips on Jewish businessmen, right? And one of the clips is actually said, if you steal, it's a halacha, it's Rambam, it's halacha. If you steal from a non-Jew, it's Hil Hashem. Person who does Hil Hashem goes to 7 levels of Gehinnom, never returns, right? Because these Jews, right? And sometimes they leave us comments about this, because in their mind, like even though it's not true, 80%, it's 99%, it's not true whatever these Muslims or other clowns say about the Jews. It's not. But if we give them like a reason to say, and it's that they would meet a Jew that cheated them, that's disaster. Understand? So we must be very honest. Your own money, so you give it to them. Right? Of course, if you don't have the whole amount, you can ask them for extension. So I'm going to pay you $10 over the period of time, maybe 25. Please allow me some time. So yeah, you can ask them. Yeah, but you must pay. If you cannot pay for absolutely not, there is no reason that you're going to get money for whatever reason. Person got I'm not talking about anybody. I had a car accident and they chopped his legs off. That's it. And he no insurance. And the other guy did not have insurance. He's stole car or something. I don't know, or something happened. Okay, so there's no problem for that person, paraplegic, or not it is invalid, to pay back. So what can he do? Okay, so go and apologize. I cannot pay you back. I'm sorry. I want it, but look at my condition. But otherwise, we have to pay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Welcome.
Next question, Shalom, Rabbi. Can we give an old pair of shoes that was very comfortable, but it has a little damage, yet they're very useful to someone else? For example, people are in need and have to look into the garbage. Thank you, Rabbi.
That's of course, that's a must. So to throw these shoes out, it's going to be bal tashlis. It's absolutely forbidden. Absolutely forbidden for a Jew to waste resources, especially as if somebody can benefit from this resource. And we have actually in a place where I live, we have this organization that would come. First of them, many boxes, containers. Like metal containers, there's a big door that you can put throw donations in there, clothing and shoes, or whatever other things like toys or something. That would go to the needy, but some of them they have a big company, like big organization. They have a truck, like going like around neighborhoods, and you just have to make an appointment. So depends on neighborhoods a specific day. But I think in my it's Tuesday and Tuesday for sure, but. Maybe one day, I don't know, maybe they change the schedule, doesn't matter. So you make an appointment, they come, they say prepare with boxes, black bags, like garbage bags, and they're going to pick up, absolutely, and then they go to distribute to all of this, gmachs. So the people who just give like an organized thing, and people come and they borrow, right? For example, if they need a bicycle, like for a little kid, for I don't know, for how kids grow, for a year. So I mean they cannot afford. For a year they use, and then they brought the bicycle back. Maybe it's scratched a little, maybe it's a door. You can wash it, you can wipe it, and it's still usable. Or even clothing. So children grow, right? Especially when they have many children, for example, right? And you need to go to some celebration. So maybe like regular clothing you do have, but now like to buy new clothing for 5, 6, 7 children, right? Just for one time, because the next celebration is going to be, I don't know, maybe 6 months from now. So and this clothing is going to be exactly useless. So they can go to these marks. So for sure it's not new, it is used, but for you it's used for somebody's treasure. Understand? So it's absolutely correct. There's no problem. There's no problem. There's no insult, and if you can give it to them, to that person personally, so you tell them bless this person, and tell them that they giving you, doing a great favor for you, that they can walk in the shoes, and maybe your endeavor to be blessed on something. So bless that person, right? Make them feel good about that. Yes, for sure. Okay, what else?
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Princess, Hashem, thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So, I had this question about something that I read in this amazing book, Remove Anger from Your Heart.
Mm-hmm.
Something that the Baal Shem Tov said about the Gemara that kind of left me speechless.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, the Yetzer Hara does not seduce man to not learn at all. Rather, it seduces him to avoid learning subjects that will bring him to fear heaven,
Mm-hmm.
such as books of Musar or the Shulchan Aruch. So he should know Halachah. Instead, the Yetzer Hara pursues a person to study only Gemara with commentaries.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I just found this to be mind blowing so many levels, because I thought of course the Gemara is a very holy text, but what the Baal Shem Tov here is implying is that the Shulchan Aruch and Musar kind of brings the person to fear heaven.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, what would be the right way to understand this? This is because initially in the process of tshuva, it's more helpful for the person to get into the halacha first and then go to Gemara, or what should we imply from this concept?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay, so basically we have to know what to do. Just because learn Gemara does not mean that we know what to do. So actually today is my Gemara day. I don't learn Gemara every day, unfortunately, but several times a week. So today was my Bava Mitzvah day. And guess what? We go through this opinion, that opinion, and when we build up the case, and when we figure out what all the commentary, all of these things, what exactly was said, and it makes sense. So the next sentence say, no, but how could you really believe that? It's nonsense. And they will crash everything what is said before, and they go from different proof. So person who is not ready for that, That it's only you're learning for the sake of the learning. You're not try to derive any conclusions from your learning. I mean, beside whatever is in front of you, there is a task in front of you. There is a question. There is a there is a situation. There is a problem, and you just try to deal with that problem. But you you understand that's good. But people cannot learn halacha, and people who learned Talmud only, they did not know what to do and did not take it seriously, halacha. Why? Because in their mind, Rav Huna said that, and then another rabbi, Rav Yochanan said, and crushed it completely. You understand? So he's okay. So maybe some people do like that, and maybe there is second opinion who is going to say, whatever he said, it's not real. You understand? So that's it's not for new people for sure. For Balchuva, it's a must. They must learn halacha, what to do, right? Because Talmud and learn Talmud is for the sake of learning, not for the sake in. I mean, some knowledge you can you can get, but halacha you cannot learn from the Talmud. Many times it's exactly opposite what it says there, and even they say halacha is like this. So it's not exactly like this, but similar to this. You have to be Rambam to derive, or Tur or somebody to derive halacha from the Talmud. Okay, yes. So and the people you learn this. Forget about. I mean, Talmud it was in Baal Shem Tov time, but today people like to watch, for example, these useless videos. Right? Somebody I never said. Somebody sent me this text, not text, a comment under two videos, like we are blind or something, right? So this probably lady said a gypsy's lost tribe. What are you doing, a gypsies? Like she said, please make a video about it. I'm not going to make video about gypsies. So I said that there is no proof. The lost tribe, not who cares? Eliyahu Hanavi is going to come. Mashiach is going to come. He's going to tell us. Are they lost tribe, not lost tribe? But what about you? What are you learning about this? Why are you burning your life on these nonsenses? Right? But that's what people do. They watch all this video about Mashiach, how many times? It's the same information they're recycling. Just stop it. Or one guy we have fan of a Geinom, so he goes to different sites and he reads about Geinom. Even 17 years old. I told him many times. I have the whole section about what to do in the morning. Do you know how to wash the hands in the morning? No, I'm okay. He disappears after I rebuke him, and he goes back, and again I saw the message from him about I don't know about what, about Geinom or modesty of the women. He's 17 years old. Stop it. You understand? So that's a Sahara in pure form. Okay, what else?
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So, in the case of someone that is already diligent about his study, is already into Halacha, and of course, brings on some Gemara. So, what should be the ratio between those two? Something healthy between those two.
I would say double Halacha in one part of Gemara, and I would say the best would be. To learn Gemara on the subject that the bottom line is, and I found for myself the most amazing thing to know what halacha. So I know in my mind I'm very strong what halacha is, but now I'm going from another side how it was derived, and it's mind blowing. So you see how they build up the case. So you have it's reversed engineering. In some sense, not reverse engineering. You start from the final. So I know the answer, and start from building up. That's amazing. But if it's the subject that's totally new to you, it's going to be not going to make sense. And sometimes people remember things from the Talmud, and then they see it in Shulchan Aruch. And do not accept it because the mind is blocked with it. So that's the problem.
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Okay, I believe that was the last question. I don't see more questions on the board. There, yeah, no, there's no more questions.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
Okay. So thank you very much for learning with us. Please join us tomorrow. We're going to continue with the kosher kitchen. I think we should finish the knife section tomorrow. Beezrat Hashem. Thank you very much and good night.
Thank you, Rabbi.